This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
The much-anticipated G20 African Energy Investment Forum is set to take place on November 21st. We'll look at how the host nation is preparing and the key topics on the agenda. Hello and welcome. This is POA and I am Biniam Getana with the Daily News. First, Johannesburg to host G20 African Energy Investment Forum. South Africa will host the G20 African Energy Investment Forum on 21st November to spotlight strategic partnerships and unlock the continent's vast energy potential. African Energy Chamber's Executive Chairman Nije Aliko said the event comes at a critical moment for Africa's energy future. Africa's energy transformation depends on connecting global investors with African projects while giving local stakeholders a central role in shaping outcomes, he said. The forum, slated for Johannesburg, is expected to feature high-level discussions on mobilizing international capital, strengthening local markets, and advancing Africa's energy transition. Discussions will align with G20 priorities on infrastructure, energy security, and private sector mobilization. One session will highlight growing ties between Africa and the Middle East, focusing on Saudi Arabia's $41 billion pledge over the next decade to support sub-Saharan Africa. Saudi-led investment is driving renewable and conventional energy projects, providing skill and expertise to meet rising demand. Development finance institutions and multilateral organizations will also examine strategies to reduce barriers to investment and create frameworks that mobilize private capital across the continent. Aliko said efficient capital deployment will be decisive in determining the pace of Africa's energy growth and meeting G20 aligned development goals. Another discussion will explore Africa's gas potential, positioning it as both transitional and strategic resource for regional industrialization and the global energy transition. A dedicated session on de-risking capital will address practical approaches to mitigating investment risks and structuring finance for bankable projects. Aliko stressed that the forum aims to move beyond dialogue. He said this session will turn discussion into action, helping unlock the capital and partnerships needed to power growth, create jobs, and support sustainable development. Algeria and Somalia signed key cooperation agreement. Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed and his Algerian counterpart Abdelmajid Tebboune witnessed the signing of several bilateral agreements aimed at strengthening cooperation between the two nations in a range of strategic sectors. The accord, signed by the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Education, Livestock and Petroleum, cover areas including livestock exports, agricultural development, education, oil and natural gas exploration, and the facilities of diplomatic travel. Under the new arrangement, holders of Somali diplomatic passports will be granted entry visa upon arrival in Algeria. President Mohammed praised Algeria's warm hospitality and long-standing solidarity with Somalia, lauding its role in defending Africa's interest and supporting partner nations on the continent. He also expressed gratitude for Algeria's offer of 500 scholarships for Somali students, particularly in the field vital to Somalia development, such as agriculture, fisheries, and petroleum engineering. President Mohammed further commended President Tebboune's leadership in establishing the African Cooperation and Unity Fund, describing it as a visionary initiative that promotes African integration and collective progress. He added that Somalia hopes to become one of the beneficiaries of the fund. Ethiopia advances industrial self-reliance through local innovation. Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Turene has reaffirmed Ethiopia's commitment to industrial self-reliance, stressing that local innovation, efficiency and resource utilization are central to the nation's transformation agenda. During his visit to Debre Birhan city in the North Shore zone, Temesgen toured major industrial facilities including vehicles assembly plants and glass manufacturing factories, where he highlighted the importance of reducing dependency on imports. The factories where visited are saving significant amounts of foreign currency by relying on local raw materials and substituting imported products. Temesgen stated one of the key stops was BKG Filpa Industry PLC, a car assembly company with a daily production capacity of 12 vehicles. Its newly launched painting facility has a streamlined operation, cutting processes that once took days down to mere hours. Another highlight was the Debe Bottle Factory PLC, which produces 450 bottles daily and now sources 86% of its raw materials locally. The factory supplies bottle to beverage and pharmaceutical producers nationwide, showcasing Ethiopia's growing industrial resilience. Temesgen underscored that this achievement reflects Ethiopia's ability to harness domestic resources and innovation to drive sustainable growth. By prioritizing quality, efficiency and speed, he noted the country is laying the foundation for a stronger, self-reliant industrial future.
El Dorado, a land of wealth, a future of limitless possibilities. This is El Dorado. From natural rich to groundbreaking innovations, discover Africa's untapped potential. El Dorado.
As we know, Africa is endowed with significant amount of minerals.
Africa, rich in critical energy minerals like lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements, offers transformative investment opportunities as the world shifts toward a clean energy transition.
Africa needs to ensure that this demand translates into tangible benefits for our people, fostering inclusive and sustainable growth at home.
El Dorado, unveiling Africa's global potential.
Ghana launches Nikiko Nikitiki Poultry Initiative to boost food security. President John Dramani Mahama has unveiled the Nikko Nikitiki Household and Backyard Poultry Production Initiative, a nationwide program designed to revitalize Ghana's poultry industry and strengthen household food security. Speaking at the launch, the president described the initiative as more than a government project, calling it a national movement to restore food self-sufficiency and strengthen household resilience and create sustainable livelihoods for thousands of Ghanaians, especially women, youth and vulnerable families. The program forms a part of the government's broader poultry industrial revitalization program under the Feed Ghana initiative in the National Plan for Agriculture Transformation, Food Security and Shared Prosperity. For years, Ghana's poultry sector has struggled with high feed costs, limited access to improved breeds, inadequate processing facilities and heavy reliance on importers. In 2023 alone, the country spent over $350 million importing poultry products, a trend the government says must be reversed. President Mahama hailed the initiative as a bold step towards reducing dependency on imports and empowering families, since this initiative brings poultry production to the doorstep of every Ghanaian. It transforms subsistence into self-sustaining livelihoods, he said. Morocco expects a bumper olive harvest after years of drought. At this time of the year, Morocco's northeastern Durich province comes alive to the colors, sight and smell of the olive harvest. Groves are a hive of activity as farmers gather the fruits and a cornerstone of the country's culture and cuisine. And this season looks like it has been a bumper one after years of drought. Good news for farmers in Durchi as their olives fetch a good price because of their high quality. The Moroccan Olive Production Federation says it expects olive output to top 2 million tons, more than twice the amount of the previous year. Increased olive oil production to about 200,000 tons will see prices go down in a welcome relief for consumers. Olives are a cornerstone of Moroccan agriculture, and improved weather has allowed trees to bear fruits after years of dormancy. But the harvest season is not just an agricultural event, it is also a time of community and tradition. Families and neighbors work together to pick the olives by hand, ensuring the fruit remains intact for the production of high-quality olive oil. From the first green olives to the last ripe fruits, the season celebrates both the land and the tradition that have been passed down through generations. It also boosts the local economy, supporting small farmers and local cooperatives that turn olives into premium oil and other products. Now to business news. The chairperson of the African Union Commission has warned that the continent's debt crisis is undermining development. The alert was delivered at the G20 Africa high-level dialogue on debt sustainability in the Ethiopian capital, where leaders gathered to address what AU officials labeled a systematic flaw in the global financial architecture. AU Commission Chairperson Mohamed Ali Yusuf revealed that African nations will spend over $70 billion on debt servicing in the 2024 alone, a sum that is consuming an ever larger share of public revenues. Many African governments are spending more on servicing debt than on investing in human development. The chairperson stated approximately 57% of Africa's population lives in countries where debt servicing surpasses social spending. The continent's public debt has ballooned from $120 billion in 1990 to a staggering $1.8 trillion today. Even an economic growth has stagnated at a modest 3 to 4% annually. The chairperson warned that these spiraling debt service costs are actively stripping resources from essential sector. The EU chairperson directly challenged the international community, arguing that the crisis is fueled by an outdated global financial system. It is a system built for wallets that should no longer exist. One measure creditworthiness through biased metrics and perpetuates structural inequality, he said. In response, Yusuf called for a new financial compact to ensure fairer access to capital for African nations. He underscored that the goal is not merely to manage the existing debt, but to reimagine the financial system that sustains this imbalance. Dangote commits to major investments in Zimbabwe. Nigerian billionaire and Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has pledged to invest in various sectors of Zimbabwean economy. Dangote, who arrived in the country on Wednesday morning, held a high-level discussion with President Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House in Harare, where he explained plans to expand his multi-billion investment portfolio into Zimbabwe. The Nigerian billionaire outlined plans to channel millions of United States dollars into projects spanning cement and fertilizer manufacturing, power generation, and regional fuel infrastructure. He also said he agreed with President Mnangagwa's government to invest in power generation and also in a regional pipeline that will deliver fuel from Namibia to Zambia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. Fuel storage facilities have already been constructed in Walvis Bay, and the business seeks to contribute to the industrialization of the African nation. Dangote is already running several businesses spanning oil refinery, cement, and fertilizer production across African continent. Having visited Zimbabwe back in 2015, Dangote said his second visit is testament to the confidence he has in the Second Republic economy policy. His expression of interest to invest in Zimbabwe comes at the time the Second Republic is on a drive to attract investment into the country under Zimbabwe is open for business mantra. Let's take a look at the current forecast and what conditions to expect across the region. That's it all from POA News for the hour. Thank you for joining us and stay tuned for more updates from Africa.